Oh my God, we're almost to 4,000.
Chivo, soO.
Here's a question for you. Are we going to get there by the end of the year?
Yeah.
So you're saying we have 46 more matches?
Mm-hmm. Don't make me do math on TV. I hate this.
Yeah, you're right. We're going to make it.
Oh, I should have just stayed confident.
Brave Stars Gaming, Dream.
Yeah, look at this. Little bit of aggression from soO here. Getting his gas in his pool before any hatcheries.
Yeah. This might be because of the Dream was gone for a while. Now he's back. So why not open up with something really aggressive, test out how he's playing.
Sure.
Maybe try to do something to him before he really gets into his comfort zone. You know, whenever you're in a tournament match, eventually, you know, the wiggles, the anxiety will go away. Mm-hmm. But it can take a little bit of time. So this is cool to see.
Yeah, interested to see what he's going to be end up doing with this.
Oh, on the honeymoon!
Whoa!
Whoa! Congratulations! That's so cool.
Yeah, you and I have a similar story.
Yeah.
We met playing StarCraft.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we
on
are.
An 11-year honeymoon so far.
That's right. We're still in our honeymoon phase after all this time. So the SCB...
We're one of those couples.
Well, we have one of those open relationships where I let you cast with 4 other guys while I was out of town for a week. So it was, yeah.
And a girl.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's fine. Swinger casters, whatever. Now, we've got the SCV coming in here. This is a pretty quick scout. Back at home, the Terran is making the CC on the low ground.
Yeah, you know, soO, just a few lings out there. He's kind of scouting all over the place. It almost seems like he's utilizing this early pool and speed and whatnot for safety purposes, right? He's just kind of scouting around. Maybe he thought he was going to be proxy barracks or something like that. Maybe that's something he's seen Dream doing a lot on the ladder.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, this seems to be...
look at that.
Oh, wow, look.
You see that 3 racks?
Yeah, right there in the very, very bottom.
Yeah, he's being a bit sneaky, isn't he?
Clearly, you know, that's not the most efficient place to put it, so obviously he's trying to hide that.
Yeah.
Do we have any... there's no overlords down there. Excuse me.
No.
So that is just not going to get scouted at all.
Yeah, you'd have to get a ling kind of luckily up the ramp to be able to see that one, which, I mean, it's a possibility since the speed will be done so quickly, but this is kind of, you know, it's just a little bit of a cheeky play here from Dream. And to be honest, what he's playing against, theoretically, this should be pretty good against it, right? Because if you skip out on your hatchery to get the early speed and the early pull, and you don't do anything with it, then you're kind of catching up on economy, right? So, like, if you're going to try to hit more sharp timing as the Terran player here, you're kind of catching them with a build order that doesn't want to deal with this. They want that, like, longer period of no harassment coming in the mid-game.
A bigger window of time where they're a little bit more safe.
So, you know, theoretically looking at these builds, I like Dream's position, even though it's, like, not a build that you really ever see.
Yeah, I guess we'll also have to see how he actually executes the attack as well.
Yeah.
Because one thing about soO is whatever he's doing, he's usually doing it pretty much almost perfectly.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of times people come in to games against soO with strategies that I guess on paper should work, but the opponent doesn't quite pull the right moves off.
Mm-hmm. Well, just a little bit of poking up at the front here. You notice where that third base was taken?
Yeah.
That is definitely a very pushable location if you break those rocks down, especially if you get siege tanks with this factory that he's just thrown a tech lab onto.
And it appears that this is just not going to be scouted or seen until the build itself activates. And, you know, well, hold on, we got one link coming down here, but that's not going to get in there. No. He's got Hellions over there at the entrance. He's very intelligently put the Marines. He's parked them in the main. This is a great way to pull the Marines there so that even if they get up to the front, you still, everything looks like it should be a more standard build when in fact it's not.
And he's even moved a decent amount down to the front too, so like he's doing everything he really can to hide exactly what this is. Now there's a lot of lings being made by soO right now. It seems like he's going to get aggressive, and I feel like he thinks he's probably against something like a 3 command center play.
So this is going to be a little bit of an odd exchange here because, but if he thinks it's 3 command center play, then he's obviously expected to come in here and do damage when in fact there's going to be a big army which is intended to push here.
Yeah, look, right, he's selling it too. Dream should be way ahead after this.
Yeah.
He should be way ahead.
Certainly not a good position to be in. Now, the Hellions are saved. Very nicely done by the medevac. And the Roaches were just obliterated. And now, after soO has really not done much of anything to the Terran, I mean, he killed the depot, but he lost quite a bit. He's going to go back home. And so from here, I think we're probably going to see this rush come out. Now, the key thing about this rush that would throw the Zerg off is the heavy amount of Marines in a push like that. There's a little bit less medevacs, so in theory, if the Zerg could win the fight, there would not be enough medevacs to pick everything up and run away. But of course, the idea for the Terran is that this is actually just going to be enough. You're not planning on trying to run away.
Yeah. I feel like he should definitely think about removing those rocks, because this, like, soO's whole hold right now is hinged on that little area.
Yeah, I feel like Dream is wavering a little bit here. I think he needs to, there we go, stim and run through.
Yeah, that's a fine way to do it as well, just as long as you get through there without really taking the damage. Now, counterattack from soO.
Yeah, the Lings can actually eat up all the Marines that are going to reinforce here, and then it becomes a matter of the Zerg trying to buy enough time to get a big enough army to then come in here and smash this small force that's coming through from the Terran. And so far, I actually have to say, soO is executing this very, very well, considering he was sort of thrown into this situation and didn't realize what was really going on until his attack failed.
Yeah, it feels like everything soO has chosen to do so far didn't work out, kind of on a blind basis from both sides.
Yeah.
But he's playing a strong game. Look at that. I mean,
great biles there.
Yeah.
And so the remainder of the army is picked up. It seems like Dream is not going to try to back off, but I do wonder if doubling down is really a good idea here. You know, the number of Ravagers that are going to be out, every tank that comes in here is basically going to get one shot off before it gets biled down.
Feels that way right now.
Yeah.
A big thing to point out here is Dream isn't really preparing for anything else. He never got an engineering bay. He doesn't have any sort of upgrades going. It's just combat shields and stim, and that's it.
Yeah, there's no plan B here. So, I mean, this is essentially the Zerg. Unlike most games, you have to try to take out the third base. This is one where you just have to outlast this push and keep expanding, and you're going to win that way quite easily.
All right, so trying to do something up here on the high ground. soO, though, he's doing a good job of kind of keeping everything pushed back. I feel like Dream is not executing this super well, and like watching this game so far, it just feels like soO is a better player. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Pushing through here from the top. Now, this will be a good way to deny this expansion, but again, a Zerg on 3 bases on a Terran versus a Terran who's just on 2 for now is going to be okay. Hold on. The drop comes in. He's going to go back up.
Okay. Drop harassment, obviously going to be a reasonable idea against Roach Ravager.
Or the spot he's in here. This could be picked off by Queens. And this is this looks like it might be a little victory here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think Terran might be driven away.
It's possible. There's a lot of Roach Ravager right there.
Yeah. Now, the tanks are pretty well placed, but the Marine army isn't actually large enough to really do anything. And kind of like we were saying earlier, really, the corrosive biles just obliterate the tank every time. So the tank count is constantly being reset, which is going to make this not just harder for the Terran to push, but also it's going to be much harder for the Terran to defend when soO finally gets that upper hand and can push out.
This has been a really a strange and different game that we're watching here, right? It feels like, and here's the thing, obviously Dream's been playing for a bit since he's been out of the army, right? People do practice a little bit while they're there as well. Obviously he's in good shape, he's made it into GSL, all those things, okay? So I want to say that ahead of time, but watching this, it feels like we have a player from the past playing.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. The strategy is a little bit anachronistic. It's like, I feel like the execution overall is not quite there, right?
Yeah. No, it does look like we had a player, we put him in a time travel machine and sent him into the future, and here he is trying to play in a different meta. Yeah, it just did not. I was curious how it was going to pan out, because it's not a typical strategy that we saw here from Dream, but frankly, soO just handled it so easily that, you know, maybe if someone else was doing this, it would go a little bit better, but it seemed like a pretty easy deflection for soO, right?
Yeah, so far, really. He's just, like, everything he did in the beginning didn't really do much, and then he just still kind of held on.
Unless there's a very specific part of this timing, like you get in there just fast enough that you kind of the game spirals out of control for the Zerg. Remember that there was that little valley where the Biles are being shot into over and over and over again as well.
Yeah,
and he was sort of out there waiting. I think he really could have actually stimmed and just ran through, but he didn't. He was sort of
don't
almost
forget
intimidated.
the Lings catching the reinforcements, helping out with the flank, and things like that. Those are important things that soO has done this game.
Okay.
Dream, though, I mean, he's not out of it. You know, I almost feel like we're talking like the game is over, and it's
no,
not.
It's just
like,
it was a weak push though.
Yeah, like soO is in a good spot, right? He's ahead on upgrades and all that, but you know, you look at this monster supply he has, it's almost all Roach Ravager. So if you can hold on against this long enough, it doesn't scale as well as a lot of things Terran is.
But I think he's almost supply dumping here in this attack as well. It's a big, scary army, but he can then remake different units. Actually, excuse me, he's going to make 4 more Lings and more Roach Ravager. And I guess he just wants to crash this into the third base over and over again until eventually the Terran is smothered. And frankly, even though there's a counterattack push here, I think these hatches are expendable. I don't know that this big army from soO can actually be stopped. That's just outside the natural here. What is it, 1 tank? Somehow these Biles are just not quite connecting with it.
Yeah. But there's some cool moves going on. Like, look, the counterattack killed a hatchery there. I almost wish that he had gone up to that 12 o'clock base and killed that instead of trying to push. But he's got a couple Liberators set up. He's, you know, Dream is making some cool moves. And it's not like we have Hive Tech for soO, right? That's kind of your finishing move. If you can't bludgeon them, you got to go Hive.
I feel as though Dream's small army that has done quite a bit of damage is just eventually going to be mopped up. And from there, the Zerg should just have a big enough army. It's going to be a straightforward game. See, right over here, he's going to attack into that. That'll be forced to lift. I'm assuming the Terran is probably getting close to mining out at the natural, right?
Should be, yeah.
Especially with all the remaining mules are now going to be landing there until that third gets up and running.
Yeah, his income definitely is going to start falling apart here. Needs to have that third base active, and he does have it re-landed and everything.
And frankly, I don't even think soO needs to try to tech out of what he's doing. I think you just stay with what you have and just keep kind of smothering this third.
It makes me a little bit nervous because, like, that's one of the great ways to throw. How many Zergs over the last, how long has StarCraft 2 been out now? Like 9 years?
8.5, I think.
Yeah, so how many Zergs have we seen throw games where they just keep throwing roaches at their opponent?
That is true. Well, I like the transition. I like the Baneling part of this, though.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because the Banelings are going to allow him to just have enough explosive damage that there's not going to be much time to even have a real fight.
He might roll through. It might just all come down to siege tank placement, whether or not he can eliminate those before they get their value in. But look, the 2-2 just finished, so now we're even on upgrades. Right? The Dream's army, again, it scales better than what soO is doing, for sure.
Right.
You know, he's floating out some additional command centers here, so maybe he can get a 4th base up and running. That would be huge for him.
That's not the CC from the main, is it? That's actually a new 4th CC, right?
Yeah, that's a new CC. Well, a semi-used CC. It is in the yellow, so yeah. It's not brand new.
Pawn shop CC.
Yeah.
I like the idea, though, of what Dream's trying to do here. I mean, considering this is a pretty bad position for him, I think he's doing the very best he can, given the circumstances that he's in right now. Oh, my God, run! Okay.
I guess you're a Terran fan.
It's like, are we going to see all the medevacs and the ground army die to Biles? It's not every day in GSL we get to actually have that. It's funny how Biles are more of a zoning thing than anything else, unless you're doing stuff like fighting tanks and Liberators.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is obviously not going to happen for the Terran. He's going to have to float that back.
Yeah, he's having a hard time. Just overall, this maxed out army, right? 140 army supply. It's pretty darn strong. He's got the speed upgrades for everything, 2-2. I mean, you can't fight that too easily. But look, 140 against 115. If Dream's army is set up correctly, he can do reasonably well against this, especially as his supply goes up. More tanks we have in here, the harder it gets, especially if they're split up a little bit.
Well, let's see how this next attack goes, because if Terran holds off this attack, then Terran has kind of done it and survived, I think, a big rocky part of this game here.
Yeah. He's actually getting close to the point where this game can turn around.
It's funny, because even if the build didn't work out, you can see mechanically and tactically, Dream is pretty sound as a player. You know, even if he's coming out with something that maybe isn't worth trying in a tournament, he still held his own and was harassing well enough that he drug the game out.
I'm kind of fascinated by his play this game.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely we're going to have to unpack it a bit more after the game, but if he ends up pulling a victory out here, Yeah, that's going to be even more interesting. Oh my god.
All right.
Have you seen that before, Dream?
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah. I mean, everyone launches those biles, but
yeah.
they're
You
not
might as
supposed
well.
to hit.
Yeah.
You're just kind of taxing your opponent a little bit.
Okay, we have a lot more banelings being made here. And we're going to try to have an attack in here. I said a lot, it's like 4 banelings, but he's making some more banelings here.
Whoa, Tastes.
And let's see if soO actually tries to come in and attack.
Well, 3-3 is on the way here for Dream, so his army is going to get a bit better. Now, here it comes. soO rolling up this ramp right now and actually attacking another location as well. That attack absolutely not going to do it. He gets held everywhere.
Wow, he was deflected on both fronts. There was enough firepower that the banelings were not actually able to connect in with the army. You know, one of the ideas when you're hitting 2 locations like that is there's no way for a Terran player physically to kite on 2 different screens.
Yeah.
So you have to have really good immediate prioritizing and say, okay, this is the fight that matters more, and then run back. But in this case, the Banes never connected, and so basically it was just soO losing on both sides there.
Yeah, now he's fighting against 3-3 Marine Marauder Siege Tank.
Yeah, just better late game composition here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. If this tank can get over here.
He's got to be careful about those biles coming down, but look at this. He's trying to fight right now. A huge amount of links and Banes come in from the side. I think that's going to give soO enough to push this back.
Yeah, just such a big army here. The kiting continues on. In fact, soO going to try to run around here and cut this off at the pass.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to lift it quite. Well, he gets most of it in, I guess. Actually, yeah, that's a lot more medics than I thought, but does run back to his Liberators, to his rally point.
Do you just keep going for it here? Do you try to run all the way into one of these bases with the rest of your links and Banes?
I think as soO, you got to wait for your higher tech units. You've already proven a few times that you can't quite finish him with this comp, so let's get into those other units to try to do so. All right, comes in with this big attack, throws down a huge amount of biles. He gets rid of some of the valuable units. Hitting some medevacs here and there, Liberators, some siege tanks. This 3-3 is going to be finishing up pretty quickly here. Chitinous plating and Ultras coming out as well.
This has actually been such a good game between these two.
This is such an interesting game as well. It's not just kind of like action-packed, but strategically what's being used with that 3 racks play that was kind of early, the fact that he skipped his E-base for a long time, and for a long time soO's ahead on upgrades. Very interesting game in a lot of ways.
Okay, again, soO is coming in here trying to pummel the army. The more banelings coming down, Marauders splitting up. And it just seems like there's so much over here. Are we at the breaking point?
Maybe.
You know, if you can get it down to just Marauders versus Roach Ravager, then the Roach Ravager eventually has to turn around, and that's what's happening right now.
I tell you, that parasitic bomb was pretty nasty. You see his medevac count has dropped sharply. A lot of them very badly injured. Looks like Drilling Claws on the way. A bunch of Ultras being made as well. And while the 3-3 Marauder siege tanks with +2, like, you can kind of fight the Ultras, I feel like, you know, when you start seeing enough Ultras, you really do want to get into Ghosts.
Yeah, we need to get to that final tech here.
Not sure he's going to be able to, though. It's kind of turning into a scrappy game as well.
Yeah, the thing is, we're basically seeing Dream just barely hang on over and over and over again, but the problem is Ultras take so long to kill. You eventually see the army get kited into the corner where they can't go any further, and there's still damage being distributed.
Yeah, look at that big bad boy in the fourth base. Oh,
run! Oh, got him. Zapped him.
Yeah. The supply's getting kind of low, though, on both sides, right? And when we get down to these very scrappy ones, you can really micro heavily with your Terran units.
Terran is pretty much also at the limit of how much of the map you can reach out and mine from. You know, the idea of Terran taking either the bottom left or the base close to the upper right, that's going to be pretty hard to hold, right? So Terran needs to kind of hang on to this and try to maybe even go for an exhaust for the Zerg. All right, another attack in here. Dream is constantly having to relocate and then land this base and try to suck up as many minerals before the maxed out Zerg army comes in here with Lings and Ultras and hits that again and again and again.
It's funny, he actually only has 1 Ultra left and he's not buying any more right now.
Yeah, he's switched out of that.
Yeah, soO does not have a big bank, and Ultras are kind of a unit that you need a bunch of other units with, right?
Yeah.
So if we're getting to lower supplies, I don't mind the fact that he's kind of getting away from that a little bit, you know?
Okay. Again, he's hitting over here in the upper right. And I have to say, I like that Dream's doing quite a bit with not very much here as far as harass, because if he was harassing with big drops, then he would be losing these bases at the bottom. But instead, soO is attacking it, for instance, at that 6 o'clock base, hitting hard, but the SCVs are pulled out. Eventually, the key units like the Ultras are killed off, and then he gets to land again and reclaim it.
Right now, you know, Dream has a lot of injured medevacs here. The Spire I'm interested in, like, are we going to see just Greater Spire coming up? Does he want a few Corruptors mixed into this to chase down medevacs with? That definitely can be useful with this composition as well.
Yeah, it could be. I think it might be the Corruptor play, actually, but we'll find out in a second.
I would like the Corruptor play here. I think it'd be really, really smart.
Okay, great harpooning there, pulling those Liberators forward. There's just not very much to defend here, and once again, the CC is forced to lift up. The Ravagers biling down those Liberators. Does Zerg actually have enough to hit that other base? Oh, you know what? I hadn't even noticed how low on minerals that base was. That third is almost mined out.
Yeah, well, luckily he has that other high ground base as well. Right. So Dream still has some income at least. Obviously, soO with a much bigger one, a lot of bases out there right now. But it's such an action-packed game, he's not even able to quite max out.
Once again, chased away. It's kind of insane to watch Dream just hang on.
Yeah.
For this long. We're getting to 20 minutes, a little bit over 20 minutes.
Well, I think a big part of this is the unit composition that soO's been playing with this entire game, right? He tried to kind of end the game early on, didn't quite work, got him a lead, but then he almost got shoehorned into doing just Roach Ravager for so long. And Dream showing he knows how to defend against this. He knows how to keep himself alive and give himself a shot.
Okay, Bane's coming forward again here. These medevacs are so low on HP. And once again, Terran holds. So he's Ravagers alone, running away after each of these fights.
And the couple of oh my God, why did my brain just die?
Oh, you're fine.
Anyways, the parasitic bombs, that is what I'm trying to say here. The parasitic bombs that we saw from those Vipers, like, he just keeps gaining value because there's no real anti-air here whatsoever, which again leads me to believe that it would be pretty cool to see just a few Corruptors put in because he'd clean out the medevacs, and the medevacs are one of the real long-term units here, keeping him in.
Again, another attack over here. The Liberator shot down. I don't think it was a wise decision for Terran to try to move out there. I think really Dream miscalculated how much supply his opponent had, and so GG. soO takes game number 1, but that was an epic.
That was a really cool game right there. Yeah, I'm surprised that Dream made such a nice game out of it, but to be honest, you know, he held on against this composition that it gets this huge amount of supply, it can do these strong attacks to you, but the actual finishing move with Roach Ravager can be very tough, and soO was unable to do that, which almost let Dream right back into it. Very interesting game, and I'm not at all sure what to expect after watching that.
You know, if I'm Dream, I'm feeling pretty good about that game.
Yeah?
I mean, he was really holding his own. He was in a bad spot for pretty much all of the game, but was actually hanging on and surviving. I guess the big question is, what kind of strategy is Dream going to employ here? We're going to GSL Cobalt for Game 4.
Oh, cool. Oh, This should be very interesting. You know, a 4-player map. What are the spawns going to look like? Are they going to be cross spawns or something like that? I feel like that would really play into soO's hand, especially the style Dream just showed us.
Game 2 is loaded up. soO vs. Dream continues on.
Chivo, soO. Brave Stars Gaming, Dream.
So, what shall we be seeing here? I'm very excited about Dream, actually. I like want to see more of his games right now.
Yeah.
And well, I guess I do get to see more of his games tonight, at least 3 more. But hopefully more than that. And yeah, it's...
from Finland, welcome. Thank you for coming down.
Hey, do you know Cero? But yeah, so this is kind of almost a tough group right now to, you know, if I put on my fan hat and try to decide who to cheer for, it's like, well, soO, you always want soO getting deep. Always.
Yeah.
I'm a Zest boy, okay?
I know you are.
I'm one of the loyal people that realizes that Zest always has been, always will be one of the world's greatest Protoss players.
Yeah.
Okay?
You are a Zest fanboy.
No. Not a fanboy, just someone who realizes the truth about Zest.
Okay, my bad.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I know that some people don't realize that truth, which is always funny. But anyways, Dream is... I don't know, it's just interesting to see these guys coming back.
Oh, wow.
Runner-up
brothers. Look at that. Why is Sue bald?
I love it.
Yeah.
It was a perfect picture of him.
Okay.
Yeah, all the returning players are just interesting ones for me, and seeing which ones are in what type of shape, right? We've seen so many of them coming back recently. I actually really like when we get to hear the interviews that everyone gave as well, that we'll be seeing on later commercial break. And seeing what they think. Like, for instance, While You're Gone, Bomber played, right? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm here in the GSL, but I don't think I'm going to really show anything here. It's going to be next year that you're going to see my power, you know, like see it return finally. I just wonder what kind of a rating Dream gives to himself if everyone else is saying he's the best of the return players.
What is your whole take on when we have these players that are interviewed in the GSL and Gary will ask them to rate themselves? They'll be like, I give myself like a D, like the person that gets out first.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
It's become almost a little bit of a meme, and the thing is, I think that here's the like. A lot of times it's Terran players doing this. First off, okay, Maru is the big one where he's like he wins a group 4-0. Like, how do you think he plays like 40%?
I know, what is that?
And here's the thing, though. I think he believes it.
I know, that's what's weird about it, though. He'll like win one of the craziest base trades ever and be like, yeah, I'd give myself like a C-.
I messed up a bunch of times there. A bunch of times.
I can't believe I've even got myself into a base trade situation.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's this funny thing that goes on in the pro gamer mind where you're always striving towards perfection, which is the same reason why whenever you see like pro gamers cast games, a lot of times they'll say that someone's dead and then the other person's
like one
dead.
circling. Yeah.
Everything is based off the idea of perfect play that no one ever does ever.
Yeah.
Because StarCraft is a game of making fewer mistakes of your opponent many times.
Yeah. It's a game of juggling.
So, yeah, the thing is, like, maybe you played 40% compared to a game that would have looked perfect, but it's like, you know what? You can't always play perfect games because your opponent's going to mess you up too. Like, this is why the game's good, okay? If everyone played perfect, we'd figure out what race is best and it would be over.
Right.
Like, no one would want to watch it.
So, this time around.
BC!
Yep.
Finally looking at the game.
Yeah. Coming back. It was a good conversation. We came back. I'm like, okay, so what is actually happening here?
Like a fusion core.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to see the
in reality, it would make sense if this game was based at all in reality that you would want a battlecruiser against an alien race. You know, this is obviously the best unit. Does it bother you that the battlecruiser costs, you know, the supply that it does when, in fact, if you look at it, it's like, well, in the single player, there's more than that supply in the ship itself, so.
Well, you're the one assigning supplies to those people in there, right?
That's true.
A Marauder and a Marine costs the different supplies, but they have the same amount of people in them.
Yeah, the Marauder just needs to eat more.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
he burns more calories running around in that big suit.
Yeah. Should stim him less often.
Yeah.
One supply Marauders without stim. Would you make those? I think so, yeah, right? Imagine how many Marauders you could get.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
You could get twice as many, theoretically, in like a big max game. If you have a huge bank.
It'd be like when it was, what was it, one supply roaches right when the game came out, but worse.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you've never seen so many roaches as back then. Okay, here comes the first BC.
Teleport! Zap, 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 zap.
Yeah. So the Queen's going to come up. Really well placed. Oh my god.
So good. With the Hellions coming in.
Amazing. These Hellions are badasses to time it out like this.
Yeah, this is great. But he's sort of driven the battlecruiser away now. The battlecruiser normally kind of roams into the main and tries to kill drones there, but instead...
Well, he was pretty ready for it.
Yeah.
Now, there is a Spire on the way. We'll see if it's going to be Corruptor or Muta. I think it's probably going to be Corruptor. And it is a mech transition here.
Great.
For Dream. Also, as soon as you see him get Yamato, generally you can look at that and say, okay, they're going to be making BCs pretty much nonstop.
Yeah.
Which, I like that style so much more. Making one BC, it's like, oh, you got a fusion core to make one BC? Get out of here.
It's a lot of tech waste.
You want to play a game like that?
Utilizing it.
Yeah, it is.
Well, also, I mean, just the ability to teleport, and the battlecruiser is so beefy that, you know, it can stay there, and you're basically guaranteed to kill and do a lot of destruction.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't kill the battlecruiser, the Terran has basically lost nothing.
Yeah, he's not going to lose anything. It's going to be like repair money, right?
Yeah.
You're careful with it for a little bit. You know basically how far you can stretch, and then you jump out.
And this really taxes the Zerg incredibly. I mean, he has to run around. Uh-oh. That's the BC's brother.
Yeah.
The double dragon BC play.
Look at that. I mean, really reasonable damage so far here.
Yeah.
This BC's doing fantastically. Look at that, all these queens coming down here.
Oh, these Hellions are suddenly going to get a lot of value just being here. Get the bandling.
soO just kind of sending some units across the map right now. Looks like the other one probably jumped home. This one's still trying to get some harassment, but this one jumped in, so he's got to be a little bit more careful with it. It does not have a jump home ready.
That's right. There was like a WWE play where he tagged the other BC in.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose this one.
Oh, get out, get out, get out, get out. No, yeah, he's done. He's done.
Wow, he got that last piece, that last queen.
Now
but still, I mean, these have done fantastically.
Yeah, and there's about to be another one that's going to come out.
Yeah. Bunch of corruptors coming out, though. These will help. If you jump any in, you're going to lose them now.
Yeah.
That's what that says. But you don't have to. Like, you can keep them at home.
Yeah, just keep them with your army.
Yeah. Nothing feels more efficient, by the way, than a BC mottoing a corruptor that was made only to stop the BC.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Just like, wow. If corruptors could not shoot buildings now, you know, that would just be the saddest thing you could ever see.
Yeah, that was a necessary feature for them to have to give them some versatility.
Yeah, they were so silly before that.
Yeah.
And you don't even see it that often, but at least there feels like potential.
Yeah.
And that's important. You got to give the people hope.
So, we've got the two BCs out here now, covering this in between the natural and the third base. And we're continuing to see tanks come out. Now, Ravagers are being made. I don't know what the tank count is at exactly. Okay, it's at 2. So there should be enough Ravagers, depending on the positioning, for him to just come in there and hit that.
See? Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to hit this base, and, I mean, it's going to be a little bit tough to get in here and stop this from happening. Oh, some biles.
Nice bile.
Yeah, really nice.
Oh, nice teleport away. I think that he's just going to break in here, right? There's enough Ravagers. There's no tanks, correct?
He's dealing some damage, sure, but I don't think that, again, that there's really much potential to kill. With tanks on the high ground, the BCs are still here. Eventually, the corruptors are not going to kill everything. Cyclone's helping out a little bit as well. So, I mean, he does some damage with it. He does all right. He's got a lot of supplies, sure, but
getting a few more tanks out, it looks like Dream's going to try to, once again, claim this area. Now, keep in mind that soO is almost maxed out. And in a position like this, once you're maxed out, you're going to take everything you have and throw it at that third base and try to clobber the Terran once more.
Yeah, is he going to be able to clobber him here? Let's see. I mean, he's pulling him back right now into some of these siege tanks on high ground, so...
Oh, my God. These vials are doing so much damage on the BCs and what's underneath.
Oh, my God.
You know, Dream, I got to say, after these 2 games, he is having a little bit of a hard time not just eating damage from vials.
Oh, my God. There's only one corruptor left, and it's very, very red.
One of those tanks that